This program brought to you by XSIQ, Learn to Excess, Live to Excess, and Honda Civic.
Standing race, but I don't think he can go another lap. Oh, and here he comes. He's in with the pits. Is this your last one? This could be a record change. The tires are on. On the top. What a start. He's going around. Wheels are on. Wheels are on. He's ready. He's ready. Record change. He's out of there.
The Late Night News is proudly brought to you by the all-turbo 9.5 series.
Ten's Late News with Sandra Sully.
Tonight, the Australian of the Year, one of our most distinguished scientists, wins the coveted honour. An Olympic thrill, thousands of fans selected for the torch relay. And ferocious flames race through a top jockey's estate. Good evening. Tributes tonight for a little-known Australian, an unexpected achiever taking out the Australian of the Year award.
He may not be a household name, but this year's Australia Day winner has irrefutably shaped the nation.
I have great pleasure in announcing that Professor Sir Gustav Nossal is the Australian of the Year for the year 2000.
A pioneer of the science world, Sir Gustav Nossal has led the international fight against disease, battling viruses from the common cold to polio for the past 30 years.
Global immunisation has the capacity to save millions of lives per year. Australia, still the lucky country, must be in the forefront of that wonderful humanitarian endeavour.
Arriving from Austria in 1939, Sir Gustav is also a vocal advocate of racial tolerance. He warned against the dangers of one nation at the last election, and from his position as Deputy Chair of the Council for Aboriginal Reconciliation, is promising to keep pushing for positive change.
Reconciliation is a people's movement. I commend it strongly to all Australians.
It's an irony that while Sir Gustav Nossal's portrait was one of the first commissioned by the National Portrait Gallery in Canberra, his picture is now in storage. Tonight's award will bring greater personal recognition, but it's also hoped an increased focus on science in general.
The 21st century is unquestionably going to be the knowledge century, and Australia has to take seriously the role that science and technology will play in all our lives.
The Australian of the Year award will join a crowded trophy case in the Nossal household, but for the retired 68-year-old, tonight's honour is the most significant of his life. Deborah Knight, 10 News.
10,000 Australians have been named to carry the Olympic torch in the spectacular lead-up to the Sydney Games. The winners are from all walks of life, but a surprising number are Olympic staff and officials.
Basking in Olympic glory, everyday Australians today ran alongside our sporting best as the 10,000 torchbearers were named. But eyebrows raised over 400 places going to Olympic staff or volunteers.
No, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
The Olympics Minister denies the public has again run second.
If you want to find out how many people there were drawn from the Olympic groups, that was quite public and open.
And questions too over some high-profile winners, the heads of Toyota and National Australia Bank to run despite being in competition with key Olympic sponsors.
My view is it's okay for them to run, but the less said about it, the better.
It's just, you know, it proves the point that it's all for the rich and they're famous.
But for the 5,000 ordinary Australians set to carry the torch around the nation, nothing could beat the thrill.
I just think everyone should have that chance. I think it's just so great. And we're going to be part of it.
Julia Blair has already carried much greater loads, supporting her terminally ill husband, Terry. She'll now represent her country alongside Olympic greats and hopefuls like Nova Peris-Kneebone.
It surely is a big honour and, you know, I don't really have to look far for motivation.
While golfing shark Greg Norman can't wait for his leg across the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
To me, it's probably one of the shining moments of my life.
And a second chance for some, an extra 1,000 torchbearers will be chosen over the next month. Alison Blanksby, 10 News.
The aviation fuel crisis and the first contaminated planes to be cleaned have finally taken to the skies. But it's not all good news for the industry, with Mobil now warning its multi-million-dollar compensation package is at risk.
After a month of stalled tests and frustrating delays, the first planes cleaned of contaminated Mobil fuel are back in the air.
It's going very well. The procedures for cleansing the aeroplanes have been used over the last few days, and there's 3 aeroplanes in the air flying now.
Also in the air, CASA boss Mick Toller in one of the planes cleared of dirty fuel.
Nice circuit. Sadly, nobody else in the air, which makes it very few other aircraft in the air, which is a bit sad, but let's get some more up as quickly as we can.
Engine flushing began in earnest after civil aviation officials finally issued cleaning instructions.
Very busy. We've got guys coming out of the woodwork, and we intend to be running 24 hours a day to get some of our clients up and running because they're hurting out there.
Engineers hope simple aircraft like this will take only about a day to fix. But for more complex engines, which require components to be sent away, it could be months before they return to the skies.
Each day that this disaster drags on, the compensation claims obviously are growing at an alarming rate.
But Mobil warns their second compensation package due this week could be jeopardised by multi-million-dollar class actions.
If some of our customers are actually taking legal action against us, it places some limits on how we can deal with them in terms of reimbursing them for losses that they have incurred.
Mobil will pay for testing and cleaning planes, but won't commit to replacing engines, after concerns manufacturers could refuse to honour warranties if engines are flushed with water. The Prime Minister also defending the delays in getting the planes in the air.
If an expert says to me it's not safe to fly, I can't override that.
And with only 7 engineers in Australia able to approve complex engine cleaning, operators are facing a long haul. Stephanie Taylor, 10 News.
A shock for champion jockey Mick Dittman. Flames raced through a mansion on his Gold Coast estate overnight, reducing the building to ashes and destroying treasured family keepsakes. No one was hurt. The building is normally occupied by the jockey's brother. Dittman and his wife live next door. A dramatic ending to a siege of hundreds of hostages in a Thai hospital. 10 rebels were killed when police stormed the building.
A bloody end, gunfire and explosions rocking the hospital shortly before dawn. Thai security forces storming the building, fighting a fierce gun battle for over an hour with heavily armed guerrillas inside the complex. 10 armed guerrillas were gunned down by commandos. A Thai army commander telling waiting media no hostages were among the casualties. Earlier, dozens of hostages fled the building, many still wearing their hospital gowns and carrying drips. It was a dramatic end to what had been a horrific 24 hours for hundreds of staff and patients, including many children. Their captors, the so-called God's Army, a band fighting for Burmese independence led by 12-year-old twin boys thought to have special powers. They demanded the Thai military stop attacking their jungle positions along the Thai-Myanmar border. After the gun battle, Thai commandos were treated like heroes when they emerged from the compound. The successful end to today's siege, a far more positive outcome for the Thai government. Just 3 months ago, it was strongly criticised for allowing a similar group of Burmese rebels to walk free from a siege in Bangkok. Loreen Deal, 10 News.
Still ahead in tonight's late news, a GST shock for consumers with credit cards. Also, the race for the White House. Find out why George W. Bush is smiling. And cool conquerors. 5 women complete their epic trek to the South Pole.
Dennis the Menace.
I'm gonna fold you like a lawn chair.
Is in double the trouble on Just Shoot Me.
Oh, that really hurt. It did? Oh, like the Dickens.
7:30 Tuesday, Wednesday on 10.
Calm down, Billy. Now, when did you last see your parents?
I don't know, Nan. The car's in the garage and I'm really worried.
It's just so typical of them.
Ow! I feel good. I knew that I wouldn't now. I feel good. I knew that I wouldn't now. So good. So good. I got you.
close them.
School today.
Why is that?
Because it's Saturday.
McDonald's 3.45 McValue breakfast. A delicious bacon and egg McMuffin, crispy hash brown and piping hot coffee. McDonald's, the only place for breakfast.
Wow! I feel good. I knew that I wouldn't now. So good, so good. I got you. Wow!
This is the late news. GST anger is snowballing. Banks now admit credit card customers will be slugged when the new tax comes in.
The Howard government remains unmoved by the growing campaign against a 10% tax on tampons.
It is now the law, and I'm opposed to any further exemptions.
It does mean that we're not changing the legislation, that we've got it right.
The government wants women to look at the bigger picture.
We're going to have 80% of Australian taxpayers on a top marginal rate of no more than 30 cents in the dollar. And if we start unravelling and unpicking and pulling this thing apart, you're going to threaten that.
But the government is concerned by claims banks will lump their GST costs onto credit card customers.
If your bank puts up your fees and reduces its services, try another bank or go to a building society or go to a mortgage originator.
The banks are likely to raise credit card fees rather than the more consumer-sensitive products like savings accounts and home loans to pay for the GST.
In the short term, there will be an increased cost as the banks seek to pass on some of their cost to customers, but in 12 months after that, there will be a reduction as a result of financial institution duty going.
But exemptions to the GST, like food, might mean there won't be enough money to eliminate other taxes like state bank charges.
It's questionable whether the states will ever get a growth out of this, and therefore our ability to reduce other taxes are diminished because of this arrangement.
That creates a real dilemma for the Labor Party. Federally, it's promising to roll back the tax, but it's now clear that'll be strongly opposed by the states. Paul Smith, 10 News.
Australia's relations with Indonesia are on the improve, with a visit planned by the Indonesian president, the first in 25 years. Abdul Rahman Wahid has confirmed his trip after yesterday's visit by Foreign Minister Alexander Downer. Mr Downer's reception was the first improvement in relations after Indonesia reacted strongly against our role in East Timor. After his recent election, Mr Wahid visited many other countries, but pointedly ignored Australia. To the United States, and the race to replace President Clinton is on in earnest. The first hurdle of the 2000 presidential campaign, the Iowa caucuses. It has ended in victory for Republican frontrunner George Bush and his Democrat counterpart Al Gore. The caucuses are community meetings where local citizens choose the party candidates. The next stop in the gruelling campaign schedule is New Hampshire. The fate of a highly regarded doctor accused of killing his patients hangs in the balance tonight. British GP Harold Shipman is on trial for murdering 15 women and alerting the will of one of the victims. Rather altering. The jury is out after hearing 3 months of evidence. It is expected to return within hours. The doctor has flatly denied the claims. As if the North Pole wasn't enough, 5 women have now trekked to the South Pole.
Meet the Ice Girls. Girl power in one of the Earth's most inhospitable environments. Temperatures as low as minus 28 degrees.
Lovely. A nice day for travelling.
For 61 days, the quintet battled their way across 800 kilometres and more of Antarctica. Today, triumph.
I always believed we would get here, but we just had to keep going. And here we are. It's fantastic.
Their families followed their epic journey from afar, their satellite phone a vital link with the outside world.
It's about to your grandma's and back again.
And this achievement has brought lavish praise from polar veterans.
This team are the first British women's team to reach the South Pole without guided assistance. And that is a definite pioneering journey.
And they've got royal approval. Prince Charles phoning to say he was very proud of his ladies. Andrew Bell, 10 News.
A clone of a clone. Japanese geneticists have taken the science one step further to produce a third-generation clone. This little creature is an exact genetic replica of a 16-year-old bull, but the cells to produce it did not come from the bull, but from its clone. It's part of a study into the lifespans of cloned animals. The scientists want to know whether cells of recloned cattle differ from earlier generations. Well, what should have been a joyous family reunion has turned to a debacle for the Cuban boy at the centre of a custody battle in America. His grandmothers arrived to look after him, but there was confusion all around.
Wherever they go in the US, there's a media frenzy. They flew to Miami today to see their grandson, Elian Gonzalez.
He bought a camera to take pictures of Grandma.
A large crowd watched and waited, but the meeting was cancelled. The grandmother's minders accusing the family of fueling a media circus.
The grandmothers will return anywhere, including Miami. These women are not women of fear.
The 6-year-old Cuban boy has been under the microscope after surviving a nightmare crossing from Cuba to Florida. His mother drowned when their boat sank. Elian clung to a tyre's inner tube for 2 days last November.
This is not a pro-Cuba demonstration.
There were protests today in Washington and Havana, where many want Elian returned to live with his father. US Attorney General Janet Reno has backed the return. She says a Florida court has no jurisdiction to keep Elian in the US. And the latest polls show that 68% of Americans support that ruling. But a fierce fight is raging to keep him here.
What I think is a very obvious thing that's going on as well, and that's an attempt by Fidel Castro to manipulate public opinion in the United States.
The same charge could be levelled against certain American politicians who've been very generous with gifts of toys to the boy who's fast becoming a political football. Michelle Stone in the United States, 10 News.
A new role for basketball's bad boy. Dennis Rodman plays a brilliant but unconventional private eye in a new television series to screen in the US later this year. In The Consultants, Rodman will play an emotional war veteran with a bullet lodged in his brain, making him prone to unpredictable mood swings. When tonight's late news continues, Mitsubishi announces the future of its Australian operations. Also, a canine crisis, the playful puppy saved by mouth to mouth. And in sports tonight, India holds on to its slim finals chance.
Papermate is advancing writing technology to improve the free flow of ideas. Introducing Papermate Gel Roller. Its exclusive Gel Glide ink system and spring-loaded point make writing uniquely smooth.
Papermate.
If you need the police and it's not an emergency, call the police assistance line 131 444. You'll speak to a specially trained operator, specially trained to listen and ask the right questions. They won't turn reporting an incident into a drama. Getting the information quicker means we can deal with it quicker. It also means more police can be out here on the street. Call the police assistance line 131 444. With your help, a safer community.
Super cheap autos open for 3 whole days of Aussie Day Dazzlers. And guys, we've hit the liquids this time with these export additives down to $2.99 each and they're Aussie made. Put some pep in your tank with Wind Spitfire at $6.99.
Get the lot for less.
Save a huge 35% on Texalloy 60 plus $6.99 for 5 litres. Paint the town green and gold. You can with export just $2 a can. A 2-step ladder at $11.99 makes it a bargain. And get it all at the Aussie Day 3-day sale where?
Super cheap autos.
You betcha.
Everything is 20% off tomorrow only at Lowe's. A minimum of 20% off all stock tomorrow only. Everything, and I mean everything, except schoolwear and advertised specials, is 20% off tomorrow only at Lowe's.
If it's not a great burger, it's not great value. Hey, how good's that?
The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
Children's Promise and United International Pictures invite you to join them for the charity premiere of Tom Hanks' new film, The Green Mile. This exclusive premiere and champagne reception will be held on Monday, February 7 at Hoyt's Broadway from 6:30 p.m. Tickets are $17.50 plus booking fee, available through Ticketek, and all proceeds will go to Children's Promise to benefit children and young people in need.
You're watching the late news. The biggest ever employee buyout of an Australian company is underway tonight. Ansett staff are cutting a deal for half of their airline.
News Corp wants to sell their share in Ansett. The airline's employees want to buy it.
I think it's a great opportunity for the 14,000 very loyal and professional Ansett employees to restore Australian ownership to Ansett and participate fully in the restoration of the airline's financial returns.
Captain Spring, a senior pilot with Ansett for 10 years, leads the buyout committee. That, with advisors Deutsche Bank, will enter discussions with News Corp next week.
The intention of that meeting will be to establish fair value for the airline so that we can go back and negotiate with Deutsche Bank.
Singapore Airlines' plan to buy the Murdoch Group share was thwarted last year amid squabbling with Ansett's other 50% stakeholder, Air New Zealand. Then the price tag was $500 million. News Corp now values its share at up to $1 billion. At News Corp's general meeting last December, Mr Murdoch said they were still looking to sell the airline but felt no pressure to do so. Today the company declined to comment on the employee buyout, other than to say they are aware of their interest. If the deal is approved by Air New Zealand, Ansett's 14,000 workers could own 50% of the company within 4 to 7 years.
We have some very capable and professional people that are assisting with the proposal, so I think it's got a great chance of success, and I think the employees will be pleased to see it conclude.
A similar buyout was successful for employees of America's United Airlines. They now own 50% of the company. Ansett staff's proposal has in principle support of key unions, even though staff would be asked to sacrifice 10% of their salary. Kelly Curtin, 10 News.
Relief tonight for thousands of car workers in Adelaide. Mitsubishi has ended months of speculation, confirming it will continue manufacturing cars here. It will even spend $450 million developing a new model to be launched in 2005. Some jobs may go over the next couple of years, but they are expected to be voluntary redundancies and early retirements. A check of finance news now, and our share market finished the day lower after an overnight Wall Street sell-off. The benchmark All Ordinaries Index closed down the day 18 points. Of our leading stocks, AMP shed 11 cents, Telstra 2, BHP down 5. Of the banks, the National plunged 42 cents, ANZ was down 21, the Commonwealth slipped 15. On the cross rates, the Australian dollar will tonight buy you 65.64 American cents, 39.74 pence, 69.26 yen and just over 65 euro cents. Gold is trading at $286.70 US an ounce. In London, the FT100 share index is down 63 points in morning trade. Hong Kong's Hang Seng has shed 64 points today. In Tokyo, the Nikkei has fallen 161. A tearful salute today at the funeral of Gallipoli war veteran Walter Parker, who died at the weekend, aged 105. 3 generations of family joined Governor-General Sir William Deane and fellow war veterans to celebrate his life. Mourners described him as a dedicated family man, generous and a practical joker. His death brings the number of Australian Gallipoli veterans alive to just 2. A mother has come to the rescue of the family puppy after her son almost drowned it in the bath. Ambulance crews say the woman's first aid skills saved Rex's life.
It was a hard lesson to learn for both boy and dog.
Mummy, you must remember not to hurt the doggies.
As for 5-week-old Rex, he's learned firsthand just how hazardous life can be growing up as a family pet. The little fox terrier had to be resuscitated after 2-year-old Christian took him for a swim in the family bath.
The dog's fine. A lot better than it was this morning.
Mother of 2, Anna Fraser, found the little dog unconscious in the water, his face and paws blue. When attempts to resuscitate Rex failed, she panicked and rang 000.
My son's just tried to drown my dog.
Your son
in the
what?
bath. He's been holding it underwater.
But before ambulance crews could determine if it was the dog or the child that was injured, the phone cut out.
And we got the call it was a child drowning a dog, or a dog in a bathtub with a child. We didn't know.
By the time ambulance crews arrived, Rex was drying out on the front lawn.
I put my mouth over his nose and his mouth and gave him a few really small breaths.
Proof, the ambulance says, that first aid can save the lives of all loved ones, including pets.
He's just called luck, I think, now.
As for Christian and Rex, they're destined to be best friends, at least until bath time comes around again.
Here we go. Give him a big kiss. Kiss,
Go back in the bath.
kiss, kiss, kiss.
Lisa Goddard Rolls, 10 News.
The all-important Australia Day weather forecast, that's next. So too, Sports Tonight with Matthew White.
Thanks, Sandra. Coming up, Pete Sampras on centre court at the Australian Open. The Indians finally win a game of cricket. We speak with former West Indies great Sir Garfield Sobers and Kieran Perkins. The King's not about to let his crown slip yet.
What is it today, Mrs. Udelson?
It's my new medication. My heart's a racing. It's just go, 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 go. I can't slow down.
I'm going to make a few calls. Let me know when she gets there.
Becca, 8 o'clock Wednesday. Are you worried about hair loss? Well, now, there is something you can do about it. Your pharmacist now has revolutionary treatments proven to prevent baldness. Hair loss can be retarded, and hair regrowth has actually been achieved in 84% of cases. Phone this number now for further information. There is a qualified consultant waiting to take your call. Phone now.
Zero job satisfaction? Escape. We'll train you and guarantee you a job in IT. Call Comtech 131201.
You couldn't watch this for 2 hours at home without your mind wandering off. So why try it on the road? Every 2 hours, stop, revive, survive.
See you tonight, Sam.
To the weather forecast, and the latest satellite photograph shows a large rain band across the southeastern mainland that should dump plenty of rain on New South Wales tomorrow. A deepening low and associated trough will move into Victoria and western New South Wales, while a high south of WA will move towards the Bight. So looking ahead, morning showers forecast tomorrow in both Cairns and Townsville. It should be fine in Brizzy, patchy rain and a late storm in Sydney. Rain and storms in Canberra, a few showers in Melbourne, rain at times in Hobart, a morning shower for Adelaide, fine in Perth, morning rain in Darwin, a late storm for the Alice. That's all from the Late News team for this Tuesday, the 25th of January. Stick around now, Sports Tonight with Matthew White is next. I'm Sandra Sully. Thanks for joining us tonight. See you tomorrow. Good night.